You know, I've always been really cautious around females. And more so as an adult in the years and the age I am now. But I noticed that a lot of these females in the reality TV world, hip hop scene, they don't like each other, but they have these relationships that are beneficial and useful for the moment. And then once they fall out, the falling out becomes real ugly and messy. Let's get into this. Hey, it's your girl, Miss Ann Little Cole, and let me tell you something. I fell asleep. I was supposed to be back doing uploads from 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. I fell asleep around about, I think a little bit going on 7 o'clock, and I didn't wake up until after 10. So we're going to get into this tea between Akbarv and alexisskyy. Now, as y'all know, they used to be real cool the last decade, pre-corona. Okay, pre-corona times, they were very tight. And Akbarv used to even have her back. She used to like with the whole situation with the daughter Lele, the situation with Masika, people coming for her over Fetty Wap and the paternity that she claimed that he was the father. It turned out it wasn't him as the father. Pretty much Akbarv was one of the people that really had her back. She even slept, according to Akbarv, she slept on her couch. And one of the things that she says is that she tried to, be a really good friend and help her and counsel her through some difficult times, because she pretty much was saying that they had been friends before Lele was born. And she witnessed her do cocaine. Now, she said this months ago. She witnessed her do lines of coke. And she didn't know if the woman, she knew the girl was pregnant. But she was just like, wow, you coked up and you possibly pregnant. And Akbarv started looking at her sideways, but she still, supported her, because for those that don't know, alexisskyy is a victim of child sex human trafficking. She got caught up in prostitution when she was around 15 and 16, and she was trafficked throughout the United States of America. And it actually made the media. It made the newspapers. It made the TVs. You can look it up online. So their falling out stems from Love and Hip Hop beef between different people on the show when Akbarv had fought, I believe it was Tokyo Vanity, Light Skin Keisha, who's now on Power 2, the book, Power Book 2 Ghost. And I like her character, Rushandra. But pretty much, if you really want to get into the crux of it, the relationship, in my opinion, was not good from the start. Now, they had a fight over the springtime, just before the mandates happened. And they was fighting, and alexisskyy was throwing shots, and Akbarv was getting hits, but so was alexisskyy. And alexisskyy made a comment that, you was really pretty, but you got so many insecurities. And for a person who was a big chick, you can't fight. You can't fight at all. Now, I'm going to say this. During the conversation episode on Zeus with her and Tommy, Akbarv did not lay hands. Not saying that she was a punk, but Akbarv was like, I'm a better woman. I ain't got no time for you, ho. And you playing all these stunts. And Akbarv is a Leo like me. And the one thing about us is that you could shout, you could scream, you could say all kind of stuff. But there's a couple of things you don't talk about. And one of the things is, as long as you don't talk about family, we don't care. But if you throw something at us, if you hit us, we start swinging. That's just how Leos are. We don't do the back and forth. We don't. But what occurred is that she called out Alexisskyy. And I do have the tweets. And Alexisskyy, she called her out months ago, and she said it now. She says that she uses Lele pretty much as a prop. She does not raise Lele, and she's hardly around Lele. Her grandmother, who's elderly, raises her up in New York, New Jersey area. Okay? Alexisskyy travels the world. She models. She does what she does. She gets money. She's supposedly a rapper. But akbarv had called her out months ago on that. But she says that she uses her for props. She don't really love the little girl. And when she called her out, Alexisskyy cried. So Alexisskyy is one of those people that she throws rocks, but then she hides her hands when it comes to her daughter. That's a sensitive topic about her because the little girl has encephalitis. akbarv said that this condition is contributed to Alexissky's cocaine usage while she was carrying Layla. Now, that's a serious allegation. Now, I'm going to say this. If I see a pregnant woman doing any kind of drugs, I'm calling the cops. I'm calling CPS. And I'm going to have them take your ass in. And that baby is basically going to a parent or somebody relative. And your ass will never get near that child. Because that's basically murder. Because if you see how this baby is, that's attempted murder. You basically essentially try to kill the daughter. Now, fast forward to the present. And Alexisskyy was basically doing like the answering questions segment on Instagram. You know how like when you go live and people ask you questions about different things, topics. So people was asking her questions about Masika, Kalisha, and you know they gonna always beef. But then when the question came up in response to akbarv, she gonna say, who? So akbarv was like, wait, who? You gonna call me who? Like you don't know me? So akbarv said, who? The one whose sofa you was sleeping on, snorting them lines while you was pregnant, and I caught you and I started praying for you? Who? The one who took you to the doctor for the herpes you have and told you to tell the man who you was pregnant by, but you said you didn't know if it was his or his? Shorty, so messy. You don't have to answer questions. You only answering the ones like that to get a response. I would have just overlooked the question and answered the positive ones. I'm so different. The old me would have never mind. God bless you, Stank. Who? The one you was running from? This one girl always wants to play victim, but be on the internet being so messy and distasteful. Leave me alone. Don't speak on me. Look over any questions. Both me, like, terms, and conditions. About me, like, terms, and conditions. Because we both know you don't want to fight. You want to hide behind keyboards and play victim. Just like I said, she throws rocks, but hides her hands behind her back. But then it makes me look like I'm bullying you when I really ain't even on that. I apologize once for what I said. I'm off that. The messy stuff you do, child. Then you start crying like you're being bullied. You don't even have to answer the messy questions. You could have looked them over. Just be happy. I'm a grown woman with kids. Stop playing with me. I got my kids. I got my attitude right. And I'm happy. It seems folks that still holding on to the mess are the happy ones. So I pray for your healing, baby, because we know you was being messy and you wanted the blocks to pick you up. And I'm going to say something. For the most part, I agree with akbarv. And I'm going to be honest with you. I like akbarv as a personality. I could get along with akbarv. I'm going to be honest. I know like people in the past were saying she's a bully, this, bully, that. But akbarv from day one always kept it real about her life. Her hard life. She has, I believe, 7 kids. And her mother wasn't in her life. She wasn't active. She's a tell her like it is person. She's like a she's like a big mama slash, in my opinion, gangstress, runs the street. And she's also Kandi Burruss's second cousin, But they say that Kandi Burruss don't associate with akbarv because she's embarrassed with her. And I'm going to be honest with you, I believe it because Kandi never shouted her out. But here's the thing, and here's the tea. This is why you don't claim friendships with people right away, especially women who are shallow. Alexis is a very pretty girl, but Alexis does have that shallowness about her. And you got to remember something. akbarv was a plus size woman, okay? She was carrying about over 300 pounds, easy. And I feel that alexisskyy was using her friendship because she knew that I could be around this woman because she's not competition. Also, she's a upcoming rapper like me, but nobody's checking for her because she's like plus size. So I'm gonna be around her. I'm gonna take advantage of her kindness for weakness, and I'm going to, get whatever I can get out of it. But once I don't get anything out of this friendship, relationship, and I don't see any value from it, I'm gonna jump ship. You gotta look at her suspect because remember, she's claimed for 2 years that Fetty Wap was her daughter's father. Come to find out, Fetty Wap was not the father. People thought it was another man. And then it turned out to be another man who's a businessman who she says is a deadbeat father. But I believe she wanted Fetty to be the father because Fetty is usually in his children's lives, and with the money he was making, that was guaranteed payment for her daughter. Not saying because it's self-alive, because at the time, she probably didn't know that was going to happen. But going back to akbarv, once akbarv started losing the weight, and remember, the pandemic hit. And remember, like I was saying, relationships was switching up, changing. People started looking at the world different. We all did. And that also affected relationships and friendships. And if you remember, if you saw Love and Hip Hop season 8, I believe it was season 8, season 9. If you saw how Alexis turns on her after that big fight blew up, she was basically saying in so many words, I didn't ask akbarv to do all that. And by the way, you can't take that bitch anywhere. Once that happened, I'm sure akbarv saw that, and that was the beginning of the switch. Mind you, this is around the time of the shutdown. So I believe once the shutdown happened and akbarv was losing weight, I feel that Alexis started feeling some kind of way and started feeling shots. Because if you remember in the back of a couple of months ago, alexisskyy was the one that was calling out akbarv and calling her bully this, bully that. She talks a lot of shit, but she don't really back it up. And akbarv's like, I let you sleep on my sofa when you didn't have nowhere else to stay. And I saw you do cocaine when you was pregnant. And I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. And then the baby comes out the way she is. And then you want to cry and I'm here for you, baby girl. I'm here for you. But don't lie and act like you innocent from all this. Now, the thing about alexisskyy is that alexisskyy do like to talk about akbarv not having her kids and that CPS took them away. And akbarv is adamant that CPS never took the children away. She's very adamant about that. And that's a soft spot. And akbarv is very protective of kids and she will whip your ass when it comes to that. And that's the one thing that Tommy did not mention in that conversation episode on Zeus. Tommy was just going off like usual. And I'm talking about Tommy Lee, for those of y'all who know. She was just going off and everything, but she did not mention her kids. She was very careful about that. She was very careful. And so the moral story is these love and hip hop relationships, friendships ain't tight. The only real friendships that are tight is with, in my opinion, is with Mimi and Carly Red and Rashida. But really Mimi and Carly Red, because they was friends years ago. That older set, they know what friendships are. But these women that's born in the 90s, they don't know what real tight friendship is. And they will fall out and they will basically talk grimy about each other. And it's just despicable. And I'm not saying that about Akbarv because she's born in the 80s. She's a couple of years younger than me. But I'm talking about alexisskyy and all that. And I don't have anything against alexisskyy. I wish her well. And more importantly, I wish her daughter well. Because, you know, she's an innocent little girl. And her business should not have even been to come out in the first place. But more story is, you gotta just, you just gotta be careful with who you make friends with in this world. And with that being said, it's your girl, Miss Ann Little Cole. I'm signing out. Take care. I will be back for one more. And then I'm going back to bed. Later.